Welcome to Twisted Reviews.
Alright, I am back again with the latest review. This time we're going to review American Horror Story Cult. This season I thought they kind of did it right, and I feel like the last two seasons weren't as American Horror Story-esque seasons. I feel like Hotel was a disappointment, and then Roanoke sort of redeemed itself, but I feel like this season Cult was a really good season. There's a lot of stuff to talk about this season. First off, here goes another rant. I know I rant a lot, but there was a lot of hate this season too. A lot of people were like, oh, this isn't like American Horror Story, blah 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 blah. Well, you've got to understand that sometimes you have to go to other sources to get stories. This season they decided to do Cult and mirror it to real life with the Trump administration and Hillary versus Trump election 2016. That's where the story came from. It was pretty much that, and there's a lot of, you know, with the wall, that crazy stuff, the fear when Trump was elected, which there still is fear. Like, this was a good season, like it or not. I'm sorry, it was a good season. I don't really understand. I guess reality is not a lot of people's cup of tea. I mean, I'm not a reality show type. I guess some people just don't like things that mirror real life. I guess they want to they want to block it out when they see a show or TV or a TV show or a movie. They want to kind of block, all the craziness that's going on, with all the mass shootings and all that, and RIP to those people who lost their lives. It's just tragic, and I guess that's why people don't want to see that on screen, which I completely understand. Sometimes it can affect people negatively, and sometimes it'll leave a bad taste in some people's mouths. But I enjoyed this season. It really went way beyond what American Horror Story does. This season went to where a lot of TV shows and movies were afraid to go. They went far beyond what a lot of people were afraid to go. It overstepped that boundary a lot of people are afraid to overstep. Another thing, the theme song this year was amazing. I love the composition of this, like the remix version of it. So it sounded politicky, but it had it's politicky. It had a political sound to it, and it always got me pumped to watch the latest episodes every time it would come on. Sometimes I would find myself just listening to it for fun. It was a really good theme song, and I hope in later seasons they remix it even more, because the old thing was kind of getting boring, and this season they really stepped it up and gave it a fresh look. That episode where he was Charles Anderson Reed, it actually reminded me a lot of the movie The Sacrament, because it also touched on Father Charles Anderson Reed and his cult. Episode that I felt did not, or should have been, was not necessary, was the episode about the Scum Manifesto. Then the Andy Warhol stuff, I think that should not have been included. I felt like it really didn't go anywhere to the overall main story. I just feel like they were just kind of, covering all these cults. So I think Sarah Paulson and Evan Peters, they deserve to. This season, their performances were overkill. Evan Peters this season, oh my goodness. He endured everything this season as a character, almost to the point where you kind of question his mentality. But he killed it this season. It comes to me to a joke. I actually told a friend of mine the other day that American Horror Story, they need to change the name from American Horror Story to Evan Peters Plays Everybody, because this season, he played so many characters this season, it should be changed to Evan Peters Plays Everybody. I don't get why they haven't been nominated or even won yet. I don't get it. They're mainstays in this series, and they kill it every season. He's award-winning material. So is Sarah Paulson. Come on, people. What's wrong with you? What about Billie Lourd this season? She played Winter, Ty's brother. I think she did amazing. I hope she becomes a mainstay as well in next seasons. I feel like she deserves to, and I enjoyed her this season. This season redeemed itself a lot. I feel like the last two seasons, you either liked it or you didn't. That's the way it went. But this season, I feel like majority liked it, and I know why some people didn't. And those subjects that a lot of people don't want to talk about, mass shootings that have been going on and all that. So yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it. No one's gonna, no one's gonna say anything because that's life. That's, that stuff. That stuff's just, sometimes a lot of people feel uncomfortable when they touch on it like that. The episode with the mass shooting, I was actually happy. As a person, as a human being, I was happy they cut it out. But as a movie / entertainment lover, I was kind of disappointed as well. I was actually on both sides on this. You want to see the entire scene, but then again, you don't want to because it was too soon after the Las Vegas mass shooting. So, RIP, and my thoughts are out to those families who were affected by that. The season really played on the mentality. I always call it the 1950s mentality that the male provides and the woman's job is in the kitchen and being pregnant. That's not the right mentality. A lot of men think that, but they shouldn't. I'm gonna keep it brief because this is not that kind of. This is a movie review, but that's even been the mentality that goes all the way back to the Neanderthals. The male goes out and brings back a saber-toothed tiger, and that's the general consensus. But it shouldn't be that way. I feel like men and women should be equal, which this season touched on as well. It's always cool when something touches on real life, and I always found that to be pretty awesome. Like that they always say, real life or your actual experiences make for a good movie or a good book. My final thoughts here. Let me touch a little bit on the sexuality of this season. There was a lot of it, a lot of sexual suggestive parts, but this is American Horror Story we're talking about. Is it me? And I've discussed this with a good friend of mine. There was a lot of sexual tension between Kai and his sister Winter. Like, you could tell he wanted to have sex with her. Like the sex scene between Colton Hayes' character, him and Winter, like it was there, and I mean, I'm not trying to sound morbid, but I was kind of expecting them to sleep together, Kai and Winter, because it was implied through the whole time. They had some kind of weird incestual sexual there was sexual tension between them two. You can almost cut it with a knife. That's how strong it was. And a lot of that stuff, that goes back to what I was saying earlier about going beyond that line, stepping over that line that a lot of people are uncomfortable to step over. And I feel like, sometimes it's not necessary to do that, but then again, you would think that, like, okay, what's the point? And then there's sometimes it's just set it up, just go for it, and it will leave people uncomfortable. I'm not lying. Don't question my mentality. I've discussed this many times with a lot of people. I don't even know how to describe it. Yeah, that's the end of this review. Don't forget to like, comment, share. You know the drill. I will see you next time when I review Lady Bird, the Justice League, and Wonder. See you then.